Okay, well, I'm live. Okay, am I live? Yeah, I'm live. Hard to see me, but whatever. So let me talk and say what have I been doing is that I'm just testing this out because now you're able to go live again, and like I said in some of my videos that I've gone live with a different app, and it just didn't look good with the app. The app would get very hot, very warm. So I guess this app is not really getting that warm just yet. It's it's still cool to the touch. So let me just talk about what I've been doing. So first off, I'm gonna try to go live frequently on here or whenever I can. And another thing that I'm gonna say is that, like I've told you in the past, I've been talking to people, certain people uh, that are other YouTubers, and I've I've tried to help them not go down the path that they're going. Like, say, oh, you have a bad day. So I'm trying to talk to other YouTubers and be like, you you have to pull yourself through this. So that's all I have to say is that I'm the one telling people you have to pull yourself out of the thing that you're in. Like, you feel a certain way, so I'm like, you gotta you gotta continue through, pushing through with your life. Don't give up, and don't think that because somebody doesn't care about you or something that it's over. So I've been talking to people on Twitter, specifically Twitter, because uh, I don't think people respond on YouTube, and if they do, it's just that's why I have to keep it in order to get more light. So yeah, basically I've been communicating with people, trying to get them uh, to get out of their depression or whatever they have. Another thing that I have to address is that some people have been saying, "Oh, you're the nicest dude on the internet. You're you can get you can talk to anybody and you can communicate, and I see that you have a you're the nicest type of dude on the internet, or you you have communication with people or something." My answer's sad to say, but no. My answer's still a no. What am I trying to say? That my answer is that I'm not in reality, I'm not a nice person. I may seem nice on here or whatever, but I always have to address that. Back in the day, um, I wasn't really known as someone who was like, you can trust me, or you want to give me all your information. I mean, like, you want to tell me about your day or something, or how you feel about certain things. And sorry about this this camera shake. It's YouTube that has the camera shaking like crazy. In reality, this camera does not shake. So that's something I have to address. That I am not as nice as people want. I mean, as people perceive me or something. I just have to say that I'm trying to do better though, because like I said, back in the day, I used to have people that said they cared. I mean, yeah, I had people back in the day that I could talk to, but it wasn't like we're like this, we're like this, we're like this. So, yeah, I've had people I've had people that I've I've had communication with back in the day, and it was pretty cool. Like like I had some friends that I could talk to, but it wasn't. I mean, they were still kind of weird around me, but I could talk to them to some people. So what am I trying to say is that back in the day I don't think I was considered a nice fellow that could communicate with anybody and be as nice because I was like because back in the day I just used to be the type of dude that I can say something and make people react to what I had to say. So if I said something, people reacted, or if I did something, people would react. So that was me, just the person that do something or say something and make people react. And some people were cool with that, but down the road, I I heard that people didn't really care about me that way. Like say, oh, I want to talk to you. I want to do talk to you and talk to you because that's how I was back in the day. Like back in high school, middle school, elementary school, some people would say, "Oh, I I I care about you," and the reality is that no, you don't. Most people didn't care. But what I heard from some people is that back in high school or back in middle school or whatever grade, elementary school, some people have told me, like I found out in the future, people have said, "Oh, I care a lot about you. I want to be your friend." Um, the reality is that most people didn't want to be friends. All they wanted was, let me get close to you because you can talk to anybody, you can communicate with anybody, and you're the type of dude that can talk to anybody, talk to any girl, talk to anybody. So they just wanted to get closer to me, which is something that I didn't realize. Yeah, that's something I didn't realize then until now. I mean, until like years later. I just had people that say, "Oh, I don't really care about this dude. I just care about getting closer to him because he can talk to this person and I can get to that person with by being his friend or like some teachers or other adults have said, "Oh, he's just instigating you. That's all he is, an instigator. He doesn't really care." And yes, down the road, I do understand that that's how it was. People didn't really give a crap about me. They just said, "Oh, it's I just want to be closer to him because he's the class idiot or something, and I want to get closer to him." And yes, there was people that were true friends, but at the same time, I kind of then and there I can't really say yes or no. I mean, because I didn't really realize it because some people were like saying they were friends of mine, but in reality they were just trying to use me, which is something I knew then and there, but I couldn't do anything because every time I said, "Oh, I want to get rid of this person, get away from me," but at the same time it's like they people wouldn't listen. Like I used to go to even adults and say, "Look, I don't want this guy around me. This guy is annoying me. I can I can get in a fight with him. That's true. I'm not a fighter though, but uh, I'm not sure if I could defend myself. That's the honest truth. I don't really know. But what I do have to say is that what I do have to say is that there's people that, like I said, just there's people that just had me. Oh, I can do this, I can do that because he's not going to do anything. No, there was times where I'm like, yeah, I could beat you up, but what's gonna happen to me if I get in a fight with you? Because some schools and some people are strict. They say, "Oh, you get in a fight, you're gonna get kicked out, and you're gonna have to go somewhere else." So that's some schools, and I think that's what I perceived in some in the school I used to go to. I think in high school or something. Remember, I remember back in elementary school. I think I got in a fight with some dude, me and my friend got in a fight, and both of us beat this kid up, which is something that uh, some of you don't know. That I got in a fight with this dude, and I think we I punched this dude in the face. I did like some boxing move, like, and I punched him right in his mouth. And I think he wanted to he made a complaint because, oh, I beat him, I punched him right in his face, and I damaged his braces or something. I think I damaged his braces, but I don't really care because, like I said, I'm just trying to I'm trying to defend myself. I'm not trying to be the type of dude that, oh, you you want to fight. I mean, I just want to create. Uh, I'm the type of dude that says, look, you're taking advantage of me, and I'm going to do this to you. But like nowadays, I don't really. I mean, I wouldn't fight anybody. I would just say, look, you're bothering me. I'll just leave you because I definitely had a friend. I definitely had a friend that when he was around me is like, no, you're gonna get in a fight with him, and I'm going to leave you by yourself here. I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna show you what it means to be a friend. But at the same time, this kid was he was a little. I don't know if I could say that he was a poor kid. He didn't have money or something because when I was around him, he was the type of dude that said, "Oh, do you have uh?" Because what I have to tell you is that even though uh, I went to a crappy school, I do have to say it's a crappy school. My family always had money, and they used to give me money. Say, "Oh, here, have $10, have this, have that," and you can buy yourself a soda, or you could buy yourself a hamburger at a McDonald's or a Jack in the Box or something. So that's the lucky me. And people that knew me, and there's people that knew me that said, "Look, I don't really, I don't know if they really cared about me or something, but they used to say, look, you have $5 or you have $10, get me this, get me that." Even females used to do that, and I was like, no. Like I said, I had a friend that I thought he was a friend. I'm not sure what to think of him, but I still think he was a cool dude. That his name was Felipe, and he was a cool dude. Not really too bad of a kid. I mean, not really too bad of a kid because what he did was, like I said, he's the type of dude that said, "You're gonna get in a fight with this guy. I'm gonna leave you. You better turn around, or you better tell him sorry, if you, or just tell him you're not going to fight him and leave. You're not going to be around me and get in a fight." So that's something I do have to say that I'm actually grateful for that. That this dude said that this dude said that. And then I've had other people that just wanted to take advantage of me. So I've had friends that were good friends and friends that were not not so great. But this is something I do have to say though. That, let me think. So like I said, there's people that wanted to pretend to be friends or something like that, and say, look, uh, I want to be your friend, but at the same time, being around, they were around other people that were really annoying. That said, look, I don't. This is how I have to say it. That there was people that wanted to be friends in my face, but then when I would turn around, it's like you could say all this. They wanted to say all this blah 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 about me, say bad things. So that is how I perceived it. That they really didn't give a crap about me, and every time around a female, it was always, oh, you know, this guy sucks. He's a piece of garbage, or he's this and he's that. Like, you're making things up about me. And that's why I have to say, like, I told you in the past that back in high school there was people that used to make up lies about me, and they would spread around the school and say, oh, look, he did this, he did that. And the real reality is like, no, i didn't I didn't do a single thing that you're claiming I did. And that's something I do have to say. I Most of the things that people claimed I did were false. And yeah, like I said, I was the type of dude that, like, back in elementary school, middle school, and high school, not really high school because it was completely different, but back in elementary school and middle school was when I was the type of dude that and I'm going to mention it again. I think I was considered the class clown or something, where I could say something about a teacher and get away with it. I could even I think at one point or another I was like a defender for some girls too, where it's like they did something, so they saw me and they said, "Look, you're gonna be defending me when I do this," and I was. So that's what I'm thankful. Like, I've had people that were real and people that weren't real, and it's hard to tell who's real and who's not real at the time because, like I said, you don't realize it. But that there was these two guys that were my friends, but they were talking all this smack about me behind my back. And it's like, who cares? Because I thought it was like, who cares? Because in one side, I have people that want to talk smack, and then I have people on the other side that said, look, I want to be your friend. I want to be this. And this is something I do have to say is that there were people that I did want to be that wanted to be my friend, like, genuine, genuine, genuinely wanted to be my friend, but I kept pushing them away. And that's something I do have to say, even now, that if I had to see them face to face, I would say, look, I'm sorry that I pushed you away. Because, look, I have to be honest, and this is something I do have to say that is 100% true. That that growing up, I was the type of dude that would rob my own friends. Let me repeat that again. I was the type of dude that would rob my own friends and my own classmates. This is why my this is why I lost friends and gained friends. Let me repeat that again. This is the reason why I lost and gained. That's the reason why I lost some friends and had some friends, was because I was the type of dude that used to go to school or used to have friends in my apartments or in in my vicinity, and I would go over and I would rob them. Let me repeat that again. I would rob them. Like, say, oh, you have a console, a portable console, like, say, a PSP at the time, or a Game Boy Advance or something. Because I think one of my friends back in elementary school, uh, I think he had a Super Nintendo or something, and I also had a Super Nintendo, or had an N64 like he did, and I stole one of his games. But to my knowledge, I think I got scared or something when he said, "Oh, you know you stole my game." I'm like, I think before that I got scared or something. Because I'm like, this is what that was weird with me because I think I lost no, what happened I think was that I got scared or something and I dumped the game in the restroom. I dumped one of those video games in the restroom. And with that, I think I dumped it somewhere in the restroom and when my friend came over to ask me, "You you know you stole my game?" And I said, "Yeah, I stole it." And okay, I'll give it back to you. It's right here in the restroom. But when we got to the restroom, it wasn't there anymore. So again, it wasn't there because I left it out in the open, just there. Just said, "Here, I'm gonna put it, place it down here." And then another incident was with a girl where her name was Aaliyah. I don't know her last name, but I knew her name was Aaliyah, and I stole her DS right in her face. Like, I mean, it wasn't really her face, but it was. I think in it was in the backpack. I know for sure, but I don't remember how she found out that it was me. I don't know in reality how she found out that I stole her DS because I'm stupid like that. I was stupid like that where I could where I think I got it in her backpack and I took the console and then after that um I'm not too sure how it happened. I think I got in her backpack and took it out of there and I put it in my own backpack and left. I think it was like towards the end of the school time, which is how I got away with it. But then after, I think she knew exactly where I lived or something, and she was afraid of telling or something. But I think she knew I took her console. I think she knew I took her DS, the original DS, because the next day I think, or I think it was on a weekend, and then when I came back to the classroom or to school, she she confronted me with her friend Melissa. I think that's what happened. She confronted me and she said, "Look, you took my DS. I want it back." And I said, "I don't have it," or something. Some way I escaped it and I kept it until I broke it or something. I think I was playing a video game and I raged. I raged and I broke it. I went and I broke the screen. I folded it back. And what's another incident? I think another incident, and this was in elementary school. This wasn't even in middle school yet. In elementary school, I think I had another incident with I don't know if it was with my classmate Mark or with someone else that I had an incident where I took his Pokemon cards and I took them all. I think it was Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I took them all and shoved them in my own backpack. And I think I got caught, so I had to give them back. Another incident is, hmm, I think another incident is when hmm, there was so many incidents that I had. Uh, hmm. So I do have to say that I, I wish I could have gone back and not done none of that because these people were cool. These people were cool with me, and I did the bad thing of robbing them. I know another incident that was I just remember another incident where I stole a kid named Danny. His name was Danny, and I stole his. I think I stole his Game Boy SP. That was another incident. But I think what happened was that as a kid, I didn't have so many. Let me get up. So as a kid, I believe I didn't have the privilege of having so many consoles. That's what happened. I didn't have the privilege of having so many consoles where I could play. Except my friend. Like I said, I used to play games with him. I used to say, "Oh, I could play on his PS2. I think his PS2, his PS1, and his Nintendo 64." But other than that, I think I myself had a Nintendo 64 and a Super Nintendo. And I had the opportunity of getting a Nintendo GameCube, but I guess I never got it. So I guess that's where I said this is where I'm talking about that that was some incidents. Then we got to middle school or elementary school when I moved to a different school, and I think I stole. I remember in elementary school or middle school, I stole an iPod Nano. I stole a another Nintendo DS, which was a black the DS Lite, I think it was called, and then I took some games, and I got caught just on the DS part because I think somebody said, "Oh look, he's taking your DS," and he did. They did. They took the DS back, and someone dumb like me went into the backpack again and pulled out the DS and threw it back in my own backpack. But did anybody say anything? The answer is no. No one said anything of me robbing. And I think that was oh and then in this kid's house that I went to, which this is the same kid that wanted to be my friend in the future. He said, "Oh, I want to be your friend," but that wasn't it. Before that, I think when I got to his house, I had a PSP, and I just like those little cheap little uh, cards. What are they? The sim? No, they're not SD cards. That were at the time like one one gigabit, 1 gigabyte or 2 gigabytes to 4 or 8 gigabytes of storage. And at that time, I think I took his little colorful SD card, which was I believe it was a I believe it was a green one or a blue. But this dude, like I said, this dude, he confronted me. He said, "Look, I know your friend came, your friend Chris, because that was my friend at the time. When I went to his house, he said, "Look, I know your friend Chris came here to my home, and then you did too. But I think what happened was that Chris, he said Chris left first, and then you came. I mean, you stayed here, and you you took my card, which is crazy. Which he knew I took it, and he confronted me for many weeks or months. He said, "Look, even though the PSP uh wasn't a thing anymore in the future, he kept saying, "Look, give me my SIM card, and that's it. I'll forget about it, and we can be friends. I know you took it." And I kept running away from him every single time I saw him. I ran away from him. He confronted me at the supermarket. He confronted me in in the street. He confronted me everywhere. He said, "Look, I'm not in high school yet." While I was in high school, I think starting ninth or 10th grade, I think, and he was still in middle school. And he said, "Look," he said, "give me my SIM card, and everything is going to be great." So let me say something that made me go crazy, though, about stealing, about not wanting to steal anymore from anybody. What happened was that what happened was that I used to have a midnight club for the PSP, and I believe it it was robbed or supposedly traded. I never traded or did anything. I think I got traded for a crappy Sonic video game for the PSP. I forgot which Sonic game, but I was robbed from the game, from the Midnight Club. He said, "Oh, don't worry." And that was back in elementary school, where he said, "Don't worry, I'll give you back your game. Don't worry." And this kid was named Danny. And he said, "Look, I'll give you back your game as soon as I beat it." So I kind of have to say that, yes, I paid the price for stealing the SIM card. I lost a valuable game. But in the future, I think I repurchased another copy of Midnight Club 3, I think it was called, or Midnight Club. I forgot which one was the one for the PSP. And another thing that happened down the line was that I used to have an iPod. I think it was like the iPod Touch third generation without the camera. The the one that came before the camera one. And I had it I had it with lots of games, and down the line this kid said, "Oh, let me borrow your iPod. Let me borrow it. I'll borrow it and I'll give it back to you after school." And what happened was, I'm the type of dude that said, "Yeah, okay. I can trust you." Because at that time it's like you're a kid. You're like, "Oh, I can trust you. You seem like a legit dude who won't rob me. You seem like a type of dude that won't rob me." So then I got robbed. And then he came back and tried to give me a crappier i iPod Touch, which was crap. And then what was the other one? I think I took a movie that I took a movie to school because he said, "Oh, look, I I want to borrow your movie." And then he took it and never gave it back. But the reason that I kind of agreed, I mean, I said yes, was because I think it was that same time frame where I let this dude, where I let one of my classmates, I forgot his name, but one of my classmates, uh, a movie from for the PSP, the UMD. I think it was Prom Night. I didn't borrow it, and long and behold, he kept saying, "Oh well, I haven't. I can't give it to you yet. I can't give it to you yet. I can't give it to you yet." And then he gave it back to me. So that's where I kind of said, "Oh, I can let somebody else borrow it. They're gonna give it back," and they never give it back. So, and I try to go to school and say, "Look, this guy stole my iPod." But they say, "Oh, we can't do anything because you consented to give it to him. We can't do anything because schools say, 'Oh, we're not responsible. You brought you brought the iPod at your own risk. You brought this at your own risk. You did this at your own risk.'" So, yeah, I do have to agree. My fault. I guess it's my fault. But like I said, it's pretty crazy. So I learned not to rob anybody anymore. Like I mean, growing up, I did have that mentality where I just wanted to rob anybody of what they had, and I learned so much. I'm like, what did I do this for? But like some people say, karma or whatever you want to call it. could be true. Who knows? Who knows if karma or something I had to just go through in order to grow up and not do the same crap again. So that's what I'm saying. Like that's how I had friends and lost them at the same time with some people. So I guess that's about it. Uh, I don't have anything else I want to add to this. So all I'm just trying to say is that if you think that I'm a nice person on here, the answer is no. I'm not really that nice. I'm not really that nice. I could give you stories about myself of being a crazy psychopathic person. So that's about it. And I'll catch you guys on another live.